what I do is just like you know, you know what I mean? Like,
Yo, what is cracking? Alright, decided to give this trailer a little more work in here and came across some issues. So the one end of the trailer, as you can see, is the front, and if you tightened, where is it? I guess I'll use that right there. So if you tighten that screw right there and the other one underneath too much, those little screws are too long and it'll stop the free spin of the axle. So I chopped a steering link in half, pulled out a propane torch, and heated it up and bent these. So what I can do is once they get in line here, I can pin it to the axle itself and zip tie it in place. That way it won't be able to budge. And it seems there's some nice teeth imprinted on from the pliers I used, so that's kind of sweet, so it should give it some stability now. And if need be, I can heat it up and actually bend it even more. So that's another little thing I did. Then once it gets into position here, kind of see how it's going to go. So I added 2 more pieces here for this to mount through. You can see the actual pumpkin, the opposite end where the actual drive shaft would go through. I have it countersunk into the body, I guess the flatbed deck of this. But I'm going to chop those little guys off too because they're in the way. Because I need them to somewhat be down here. My bad. So I got this piece here and it's going to go underneath this to raise up the axle just that little bit. So what's going to happen is I made these, and when you buy an Emax you kind of get a bunch of that stuff right there. Comes with a piece, a round one, a square one, a star one, sorry. So I chopped off a couple ends, glued them to a nice flat piece of wood here, and this will get glued up underneath, and then the shock can actually screw into any one of those. So it kind of gives it an adjustability and pretty good stability, because otherwise this axle would have just flopped around. Trying to mount this, ran into a few issues once I realized that the shocks get in the way. So I got that. It's going to go in nice. Screws up pretty flush, pretty easy. I guess I'll zoom out a little bit here. But had to do that. And then these little notches here for where the shocks actually end up going through, as the shocks had to sit down here, so it was making it sit rather bizarrely. Try to give you a view there. So you can see like the shocks were coming back this direction, right? Going up. So they needed a notch, or it actually ended up like that's where all of the weight of the axle and whatever load would be on the trailer would sit. Is right on the shock points, so that looks like an easy solution for doing this. Also, that's how I've mounted the steering link, or steering arm, I guess. Melted it, crimped it, and then pinned it there. So I have a relatively straight axle that doesn't want to move anymore. Easy solutions. Just takes a little bit to figure out. So once this gets mounted up, I think I'll be good. Also cut these in half as it was taking up too much space. So I'm not sure which way it's gonna end up mounting. It's gonna go on the outside or on the inside. I think the inside will be the way to go. But as you can see, it's going to be flexed out a little bit, which will kind of prevent flex. So I might have to end up mounting it from the outside, like so, and then that gets a bit closer. So I'll just put another piece of little shim of wood in there on either end, and then this can sit there without losing any contact, because right now it's wobbly. A little warble. Yeah. So that end's going to be good for that axle right there. No problem. That goes in like so. Nice and sweet.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Yo, another little update here. Whoa, camera's all over the place. Okay. So this rear suspension, I got it all built up. This is what I've done to make it work, but I need something to keep it pinned, because it wants to rotate the axle pretty badly. Then I made this little guy. You can see that little notch out of there. Actually, the shade helps it. See that little bit of a notch? I'm going to mount it backwards right here. It's the profile is low enough so that it's not over top of there, as you can see. But the elastic band that I have going through there, I have it looped up underneath the axle, kind of pinned behind the, yeah, you see. And then that little notch is going to let it sit in there and be usable like this, have something to bind it to. So that's kind of what I've done here. Then I'm going to need something to make a hitch from. Got this. So you can see this here. And a little bit of wire I've got from chicken fence, chicken wire. So I'm going to weave it through, kind of like loop it around one end, go through, loop it around the other so it becomes solid and it can't bend. Because you don't want this to be a pivot point where these links and the Y frame or V frame, whatever you want to call it, join, because it'll end up doing that, right? And you don't want that at all. Then on this end over here, I'm going to drill a couple little holes and have these guys kind of pinned there. Far enough back, probably right around there or so. And that way they can't pivot else, you know what I mean? Probably about that far back actually. That'll probably be perfect right there. Might have to do it this way. I wouldn't mind having that flat bit up against, but you never know. Might do it like that. Should be pretty sweet. And then you can see here, got a little bit of suspension. Had to make my own. Got some nice twist to it so the front can stay solid, but the rear can twist and go over stuff still. It'll be a bit looser than what it is right now. Alright, another little update here. Got the deck of the trailer built. Got it mounted. Seems pretty decent to me. But here's how it operates now. You can see we got a little bit of suspension back there. The front is solid, so the back has to flex. Used to be the other way. All like this. So once these ones moved, we had some action back there. So I'm gonna have to build something that kind of builds. Where was it?
Where'd it go? Where is it? Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, this.
This guy. I'll build something like that so it kind of clears that when it's doing that. Something like that, perhaps. Perhaps the other way, kind of like that, so I can flex and not hit it. I'll figure something out, but it's pretty sweet having that now. A little bit of suspension, and that was my solution right there. Totally gimmicky, glued, lots of freaking gluing. With now where'd that go? There it is. This is the best glue I've found for doing this stuff. Sets fast and it's crazy strong. Like it's almost an epoxy, but it's still super glue. Yo, what is up? Another little up. Oh, tiny guy, what's up? So I got this stuff here. It's from a box. Some of you might know this symbol right there. It's from a gaming mouse. It's nice black. I like the black material. It's really strong too, so I'm going to try to create some sort of curve here or something like that. Something like that perhaps. pin it down. Might have to make a crease here. Use something like this as a support for it to kind of keep everything in line. And then on the back side of this, I can glue the popsicle sticks there to give it the strength that it'll need. But I'm gonna probably end up gluing this to here, like so, and then I can build accordingly. So it can still flex and not interfere and still haul. I haven't really figured it out completely yet, but that's where I'm at right now.
Peace.